As the Washington Post reported, Greece's problems, critics argue, have only partially to do with speculators, more to do with false economic data, broken tax system, runaway spending. The Greeks report that only 5,000 people make over $136,000 in their whole country. I'm particularly concerned about the role of U.S. financial institutions, particularly Goldman Sachs, that as Greece got on the heroin of borrowed money, Goldman was the crack dealer and did not disclose these increasing liabilities to the EU financial system, to the IMF, or to the Fed. Now, Papandreou asked you for money and backing, but it would seem that not only should we very carefully review any request he has, but have you had any frank discussions with Goldman about their very questionable role in this?
Congressman, just to clarify one thing, the Prime Minister did not ask me or the President for financial assistance yesterday. What he did do is to outline the reforms they've enacted so far and the plans they have in prospect to help dig themselves out of a unsustainable fiscal position, restore growth, competitiveness to that economy. And he's got a lot of challenges to face, but he's beginning that process. And he also walked us through their discussions with the Europeans to try to make sure they're managing through this carefully. It is very important that the United States work with Europe to put in place a comprehensive set of reforms to provide oversight over the derivatives markets.
Right.
It is important to us. It's important to them. It's something you have to do globally if you're going to do it effectively. And as you know, we proposed, and the House has passed, a sweeping set of reforms that would bring oversight to all participants in those markets, move the standardized parts of those markets onto clearinghouses, bring transparency to those markets, make sure that our enforcement authorities, the SEC and the CFTC in particular, have the ability to police, to go after, to deter fraud and manipulation. And that is very important to us. We're going to work very closely with the Europeans to help support those reforms. Part of the imperative here is to bring as much transparency as we can to those markets.
Let's
now,
go to the question.
I'm coming to your question,
yeah.
Which is that I can't comment on any ongoing investigations, but of course, as you've heard the Federal Reserve Chairman say, the responsible people in the U.S. are taking a careful look at these things, as you would expect them to do.
And so you have called Goldman and said what's up?
I'm not going to comment on anything we've done specifically, but I just will draw your attention to the statements made by the Chairman of the Federal Reserve Board and by the SEC, when they are the competent authorities in this case, that they're going to take a careful look at this stuff, again, as you would expect them to do.